Today is Wednesday, February 8th, which means in 2 days I'll have been on HRT for 11 weeks. And some things have happened in the recent past that I want to talk about, some pretty exciting things. I actually planned on making this video last week, but things have been really busy and I just never had the chance to do it. So last week I saw the endocrinologist for the first time since I started HRT, a month late, to see where I was at and if the prescription had to be changed and stuff like that. Well, first of all, I kind of feel bad now. In the last video, I kind of shat on the endocrinologist because he told me he would make a blood work appointment for me at the university, and it turns out I was waiting around for nothing and I had to call the university to make the appointment still. Well, it turns out that's actually not his fault. He did contact the university and ask them to make a blood work appointment for me. They just didn't do it. It's the university's fault, not his fault. The university has a medical clinic. That's where I get blood work done. So yeah, the university just I don't know if someone forgot or if they just decided not to do it and wait for me to call instead, but that's why I sat around for weeks waiting for a blood work appointment that wasn't scheduled, because it turns out they were just waiting for me to call, and the endocrinologist did not know that. He genuinely thought they were going to make the appointment because as far as he knows, that's what they told him. So that's stupid, but anyway, I'm glad it all got sorted out anyway. So I got the blood work done a couple of weeks ago, maybe even 3 weeks ago now. I think it was 3 weeks ago, and I saw the endocrinologist last week. And here's the thing, they have changed my dose. Before I mention how they've changed my dose, I did remember a friend of mine, and who's actually a genderqueer person. I don't know him in person, I know him on Instagram. They were interested to know what my hormones level were before starting HRT, how much testosterone and estrogen I had before I started the hormones. And that made me interested to know what that was. So when I was at the endocrinologist last week, I asked for this information and I got it. He gave me numbers. I do not remember the numbers anymore, but I do remember the relative amounts. So I'll divest them here in case anyone's interested. Before I started HRT, my testosterone was right in the middle of the normal male testosterone range, totally ordinary amount of testosterone in my body. I think I remember the number. I think it was around 160 or something like that, and I think that's like nanograms per milliliter or something like that. But my estrogen before I started HRT was actually slightly lower than the normal male range. You know, males have a little bit of estrogen in them normally, and likewise females normally have a bit of testosterone in them. But I actually had a bit less estrogen in my system before I started HRT than a man normally would. I found this very interesting. I don't know if this is something that's common or if it denotes some health anomaly, some minor health anomaly or something like that. I don't know, but I don't know how normal or abnormal it is, but I found it very interesting nonetheless. But he also gave me my values after I started HRT, and these values were taken with the blood work I had 3 weeks ago. And those values are where I think it gets even more interesting. After a month on HRT, was it a month? I got it 3 weeks ago. So it was a little over a month after I started HRT. My testosterone had fallen from 160 or whatever it was to 3 nanograms per milliliter or whatever it was. So my testosterone fell a lot, which is pretty cool, but it still has a little more to go. They want it to be less than 1. That's the normal female range for testosterone. So my testosterone has a little more to fall, and so I don't know why my light turned off for no reason. My testosterone still has a little more to fall, so he upped my spironolactone. I've been taking 100 milligrams per day. He's upped it to 150 milligrams per day. So he's done that so my testosterone can lower a little bit more, so that's cool. Now here's the most interesting bit. My estrogen on just a month HRT is already in the optimal female range, which is super fast. That's something that usually takes several months for someone undergoing a gender transition to accomplish, to get their estrogen up to the normal female range. I did it in just a month, which he told me, he said that's super fast. That's an unusually positive response of the body to HRT. So I found that very fascinating. I'm already in the normal female range of estrogen, which is actually really cool. So he didn't have to adjust my estradiol. I'm on the same dose of estradiol, 2 milligrams per day, because I'm already there. My estradiol amount's already completed. It's at the optimal value, which that's totally cool. So between that and my testosterone, which also fell very fast but still has a little more to go, it seems my body has been very receptive to the HRT. It's just totally accepting it, and I haven't been sick. I feel just fine. A lot of people normally get sick when they start HRT because the shift in hormones is just hell on your body and your brain. I haven't had any of that issues. I've felt totally fine. I think mentally and emotionally I'm still totally normal, except that I feel better and happier. So it seems that as far as, one's response, a bodily response to a gender transition goes, my body is doing as absolutely perfectly as one could hope for their body to go when it goes through this sort of stuff. So I'm quite happy for that. I'm liking it to my body being so receptive of the HRT because it really wants it. It's always wanted it. So that's what I keep in my mind. So yeah, anyway, that's totally cool. Really happy. So I'm taking a little more Spiro now to get my testosterone down more. And in 3 weeks, I have another blood work appointment. And then I'll go see him again, and we'll see how my levels are the next time. I'm very glad he's up the Spiro for a particular reason. Remember on this last update, my 2-month update, I said, it feels like my facial hair's starting to grow a little bit faster. Well, it turns out my facial hair's definitely starting to grow a bit faster. It turns out my body has started to go through, I don't know if there's a name for it, I call it hormonal rebound. There comes a point when one goes through this that the body gets just kind of fed up. I don't know if it's with the Spiro or the estradiol, but the body decides to react to the new hormones by producing extra testosterone. So it turns out, my facial hair is starting to grow faster and stuff. Also, my acne has come back a little bit, and even my sex drive has come back a little bit. So it turns out I'm currently going through this rebound period where my body has decided that something's wrong because I'm lacking in testosterone, and it starts upping the testosterone production. So luckily, now with the extra Spiro, hopefully we can keep that at bay and things will tone down a little bit more afterwards. But yeah, that's pretty much the update as far as HRT goes. As always, I feel totally fine and great and very happy, and this has been the happiest 2 months of my life, two months and a little more so far. So very, very, very happy about this. I think that's all I wanted to talk about. There is one more thing. When I was at the endocrinologist's office, some gender-related events are often held out of the endocrinologist's office. The city has basically a gender minorities group which holds meetings at the endocrinologist's office, usually every week. I've never been to one because it seems every time they meet it's to do something like arts and crafts or something like that, and I just don't give a crap about that, so I've never gone to one. But one of the things they do hold sometimes is a clothing swap. People donate clothing, and so once in a while they have a clothing swap, and people can come in and, if somebody's undergoing a gender transition and they want some more clothes, for the gender that they're transitioning to, but they might not necessarily have the funds to do that. You can come in and pick up a few pieces of clothing, and if you have any clothing you don't want, you can donate it, and it's totally awesome. It's wonderful. And so while I was at the endocrinologist's office last week, they weren't holding a clothing swap, but he offered to let me into the basement where they were storing all the clothes that had been donated, and let me go through the stuff and take some things, which I think is the nicest thing ever. So I did. I went down there, I found a few pieces of clothing that I kind of liked. I haven't tried all of it on yet. I've only tried one piece on, and I know that it fits. But I picked up, I believe, 6 pieces of clothing. But I'll show you what I picked up right now. Well, this first piece, which I have tried on, and I do know it fits, is this orange sweater here. And I quite like this, and actually one of my favorite things about it, which is of course ordinary for female clothing, is it's very form-fitting against the body. It's quite stretchy, and when you wear it, it's flat against the body, as opposed to what I usually wear, which is, loose and doesn't really show the shape of the body. I'm quite excited to have something like this, because when I put it on, it really brings out my breasts. And so, something kind of surprising is my friggin' beer belly doesn't even seem to show up too much with this on. So yeah, I quite like this. I might wear it to school very soon. This next piece is something I'm quite bold. I don't think I have the confidence to wear something like this out in public yet. So it's quite bold that I've picked it up, this dress here. But I quite like it. If there's anything I've learned in the past couple of months, is that I have a stripe fetish. I like anything with stripes. Yeah, I quite like that. And then this next piece here is this, I guess you'd call it a sweater. That's got this big loose collar on it. I think these 3 will fit. I did try everything on very briefly when I was at the place, but I haven't done a long-term fit test yet, except for that orange one. Yeah, this one's pretty neat. I like this. This is something that I would have no problem going out in public with now. So that's the first 3. I'll put them away and lay out the next 3. I accidentally lied. There's actually 4 more to show. First is this shirt here. Once again, stripes. I may not keep this because it may be too small. From what I found when I briefly put it on at the office, I think it may be too small. If I wasn't as fat, I think it would fit just fine, but I think it may be too short because my belly sticks out and it has to go around that, and yeah, that makes it too short. But I'll have to see for sure. But this one may be being redonated because it might not fit. Same with this tank top here. I like the design on it, but I think this might be too small, but I have to put it on again and see for sure. This one I really like the look of. I think it's very cute. I love the color, and once again, stripes. But here's the thing, I have no idea how to put this on. It has no sleeves, no armholes, so it's not a tank top. It's just something that, oh, it does have sleeves. That's the thing, I have no idea, because the back, there's the tag, so this is the back of it, yet the armholes are sticking out the back. I have no clue. The receptionist that went down with me, she couldn't even figure out how the heck to wear this thing. So I'm like, you know what, it looks nice, I'll take it, see if I can figure out how to wear it at home. Because this is strange. So we'll see about that one. And then this last one might be a keeper. It's just a, I don't know what the heck you even call something like this, but it's like a, just a shirt that you throw over another shirt, like a zip-up hoodie would be. And this one seems to fit just fine, and it looks nice. So yeah, I think this one would probably be a keeper. But I have to try these 3 again, see what they're like. So that's it. That's the pieces of clothing I picked up, and now I get to return the favor someday and donate some of my own old clothes there. I'm sure there will be stuff that I just won't want to wear anymore. Actually, there's probably a lot of things that I'd probably be able to think of that I don't need anymore, and will donate to them in return. So that's it. That's everything I wanted to show you guys today for this update video. As always, thank you so much for your ongoing support and encouragement. Every day I get words of support from either someone I know or from a stranger. And you know, it means so much, because this has made me so happy, and I'm so glad that other people are also glad to see me happy. So thank you as always. My Instagram accounts, my main Instagram, The Maritime Man, where I show my usual hobby stuff, day-to-day stuff, and my second Instagram account called becoming.me.0, which is solely gender transition and gender minority and transgender related stuff. So follow those if you want, and thank you once again, and I'll see you in the next update.